Dragons Rising has given us a lot of sets so far, which means even more minifigures. So in this video series, I'm going to be ranking them all from worst to best. So in this video, I'm going to be kicking off with number 46. At this spot, I have Euphrasia. And honestly, I think Euphrasia was a pretty well designed minifigure. I like the shades of blue that she has on her torso. Her robe design was done well, and the different shades of blue really contrast well with the white, which is what gives the torso such a nice look. I like the designs on the torso. They aren't too complicated, but they aren't too simple at the same time. So overall, I think that this minifigure just has a nice look, and I'm going to be putting her here at number 46. Same can be said for number 45, which is Wu. Again, I really love the robes that go throughout his body. My main complaint with this minifigure is I feel like the tan and the different shades of brown just don't mix all that well, and they give this minifigure sort of a bland look, but definitely not a super bland look, and I still love how this guy looks. Anyway, going on to number 44, here I have the storm suit for Kai. And for this one, my main problem is just that the two different shades of red that they use just don't contrast enough in my opinion, and give this guy kind of a bland look, as it just seems like he has one shade of red all throughout his body. The little bits of gold and yellow are nice, but overall they don't do much to help this minifigure improve for me, so I'm going to be putting him here at number 44. Same can be said for Storm Lloyd. I feel like the shades of green they use just don't contrast enough. The gold though on this one does contrast a lot more than it did with the red on Kai, so I'll give him that. And the bright green hands definitely do pop out, but overall this minifigure just isn't vibrant enough. I don't really love looking at this minifigure, so I'm going to be putting him here at number 43. Going on to number 42, we have the Spirit of the Temple from Dragons Rising Season 1, and I think that this minifigure is another pretty well designed minifigure. Once again, I do love the robes that go from his torso into his leg piece. I think that the belt, the tan belt on his legs just feels a little bit out of place, but overall it's not too bad, and it doesn't detract too much from this minifigure. I like the designs on the torso, especially how they balance the lime green, the dark green, and the black. And in his torso you can see like these little spirits. I think those definitely look really nice. I think this minifigure is a solid one. I'm going to be putting him here. Going on to number 41, we have Cinder, and this one's a fantastic minifigure from the torso up. I'll just get it right out of the way. I feel like the ghost tail piece on this one is just really out of place. It gives this minifigure a super incohesive look, and I really don't like it for that. If this minifigure had normal legs, it would be at least 10 to 15 spots higher, because I do love that torso. I love the design. I love the transparent gray arm. I feel like that represents his smoke element well. The headpiece I think was done really well. The hair is all right, and the armor piece is also pretty cool. But because of that ghost tail piece, I'm just not going to put him any ahead of this. Moving on from number 35 to number 40, here I have the mech pilot suits for Zane, Lloyd, Jay, Kai, Cole, and Nia. The main reason I love these suits is that they have a simplicity to them that I just like, but at the same time, they're not too simple in my opinion. I also feel like for the majority of them, they really did a good job at picking their colors. Like, these suits don't look bland, especially Zane, who is my favorite, and I love how they did the gold, the white, and the blue all in this minifigure. Same can be said for Lloyd. I feel like this minifigure is definitely not bland. Now, we're definitely gonna see examples, but I just gotta say that I'm not a huge fan of when they use gray so much on Nia, and this minifigure, it definitely works to her disadvantage, giving her just sort of a bland color scheme from the torso down, at least in my opinion. So I think that she's definitely the worst of the mech pilot suits, but I think the mech pilot suits as a whole are a pretty good line of suits in my opinion. Going on to number 34, here we have Storm Cole. This one's primarily black with little bits of orange and gray and gold, and I think that just works so well on this minifigure, especially in the torso. The gold just pops out a lot more. The orange in the mask looks really nice, and overall, this is a really good minifigure in my opinion. Which again, same can be said for Storm Zane. This one has a lot of the pros that Storm Cole and Mech Pilot Zane had, with the color scheme and the little bits of blue and gold going throughout. I think this minifigure was also really well designed, which is why I'm going to be putting him here just ahead of Storm Cole, because I feel like the white and blue color scheme is just a little bit better. Next up though, at number 32, I have Storm Nia. Now I did just say that I don't really love it when they use gray on Nia, but I think this has to be the major exception, because I think it was a really smart move to use gray as like the base color and then have the blue on top. I think the gray and the blue go together surprisingly well in this minifigure, and even just looking at the torso, I love how well it balances the blue, the gray, and the gold, and I love the transition from gray in the legs to more blue in the torso and in the mask. mask. I think this minifigure was just in general, again, very well done, and it manages its color scheme super well, better than most Nia figures, which is why I'm going to be putting it here at number 32. Next up at number 31, we have the antagonist of Dragons Rising Season 1, Empress Beatrix. And I think Empress Beatrix is a pretty good figure. I like her hairpiece, I think it's quite unique. I have seen though that it has some problems with covering up the back face print, which is definitely not ideal, but I think it makes a minifigure look good enough from the front that I'm willing to overlook that. I like the armor piece, it's really bulky, it just gives her a lot of presence, and the robes also are done really well. They are a pretty simplistic design, but they're also a really well done design, so overall, not too many complaints about this minifigure. I'm going to be putting her here at number 32. Going into the top 30, next up I have Rapton, and Rapton is really similar to Empress Beatrix, so I have a lot of the same pros and cons, but I do like this one slightly more, because I feel like the head is just a little bit better. I like those red visor goggle things, but other than that, this minifigure is really close to the other one. The torso is ever so slightly different, and the armor piece is black this time instead of gold, but still, the gold and black dichotomy is still here, and it also works on this one pretty well. Going on to number 29, here I decided to put Jordana from Dragons Rising Season 2 Part 1. I think the Wolf Clan suit that all the generals from this season have was just a pretty nice suit in my opinion. I like the armor piece, it's fluffy, so that definitely gives them some more personality. The overall color scheme is also pretty good. There's little bits of blue and purple all on top of a base color of like this darkish blue, so I think that was definitely well done. And overall, again, just not too many complaints about this minifigure from me. Overall, I am a pretty big fan of this minifigure. I think it looks really good. Same can be said for the next minifigure, which is the Cinder from the same season. He's basically the same minifigure, except he just has a different hair and head. And I think that this head is actually really nice because it's transparent, and it definitely fits his personality a lot more, having that whole smoky vibe. So overall, this one's just slightly better than Jordana, but both of them are pretty good minifigures in my opinion. So that's gonna do it for this video. We've covered just about 20 minifigures, and in the next video I'm gonna be going all the way up till the top 10, so you don't want to miss that. But anyway, if you enjoyed, make sure to check out part 1 that is already up on the channel, and if you haven't already, again, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.